Welcome back to Ultimate Combat Radio. Mike Stidham here talking a little mixed martial arts, broadcasting live from the Ultimate Combat Training Center in Draper inside the VF Factory Outlet Mall located at 12101 South State Street. We're here for some boxing matches. USA Boxing has 22 amateur boxing matches scheduled with everything from 8 years old to 35 years old and a couple of lady fights in there as well. So everything on the slate tonight. Our poll question for the evening is which MMA team is the top MMA team out there? Now, Brandon, I'd love to have people weigh in on that. How could they do so if they were so inclined to do so?
Give us a call at 4, 5, or 670-1280.
Perfect. All right, there you go. Let's talk about, MMA Weekly had their top 10. We've run it down through number 7. Number 7 now is Nova União, and it's located in Brazil. This is a jiu-jitsu team that's produced some truly great MMA fighters. But these are the guys that we talked about. You may not know them as household names, but just some super tough guys. And those are the kind of gyms you kind of have to watch out for.
Definitely. It's interesting. A jiu-jitsu team makes the list a little higher up than a couple of the wrestling teams that we kick the list off with.
You know what's interesting about that, though? There are wrestling teams above this, too. And this is the birthplace of MMA. And the question lies, are they getting the striking that they need, or is it just sheer jiu-jitsu, or what the case may be down there?
Nowadays, it sounds cliche, but we always say everybody's cross-training. Everyone's doing everything. There's no pure traditional martial artist anymore, but every school, based on their geographic location and their history, is going to have their strengths.
Right. Speaking of geographic location, you can't be located anywhere better in the world for an MMA team than Las Vegas. And number 6 is Extreme Couture, with, of course, obviously one of the biggest names in mixed martial arts, Randy Couture.
Yeah, that's another gym I've personally visited and was very impressed with. It's probably a completely different vibe from some of the older school places like Team Quest. This is like a state-of-the-art facility, flat screen TVs on all the walls, and all the latest equipment and fancy kind of fitness trends going on in there.
And speaking of trends, this is a place that is going to have a lot of the household names that you're going to recognize. The Gray Maynards, Vitor Belfort, Evan Dunham, Forrest Griffin, Frank Trigg, a ton of guys that you're going to know who they are. And they kind of migrated toward one another when they, Randy Couture, who else are you going to go fight or train with than the guy that was really been the household name for MMA for the last several years.
So interesting that you talk about it being in Las Vegas. I wonder if the advantage of these guys fighting a lot in their own town, sleeping in their own beds, waking up, eating their own food, outweighs the distractions there and the lifestyle of the typical Las Vegas lifestyle.
Not only the Las Vegas lifestyle, though, but I think that could be a catch-22 as well. Sometimes you want to get away from family and friends when it's time to fight, and I don't want my wife nagging at me in the morning the night of a show, So, that's an interesting point. But certainly Las Vegas can be a distraction. In fact, Rico Rodriguez, who was on the show, he said, "Look, man, I was 21 years old and I was the world champ, and there was cocaine and hookers, and what was I going to do, And so that was the downfall of his career."
Yeah, I've known a few fighters move to Vegas to train at Extreme Couture because they were going to take their game to the next level, and it didn't go to the next level.
Came back with their tail between their legs.
Exactly.
Something else went to the next level.
Yeah.
Exactly.
About Couture real quick, I heard he's got an amazing medical staff involved in that gym too.
And, it doesn't surprise me because I think he's one of those guys that does get it, that the advancements in medical technology and the other just training technology is a big deal for him.
Absolutely.
All right, number 5, Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. This is a guy that, man, these guys are Nick Diaz. In fact, you said you just watched a bio on him and talked a lot about this place.
I watched a 22-minute, very painful interview of his regarding his upcoming fight with BJ Penn.
Which we don't have 22 minutes of. But give us the Reader's version of that.
In regards to his team, he's been loyal to that team since the very beginning of his career. He's never jumped around, which says a lot for him and the team. He says that's the attitude of all the people there. It's in a very small town, and he says he gets recognized less as a UFC fighter or a celebrity in that town where he lives than anywhere else he travels. And nobody there is interested in MMA, just the people which is by design. That's
awesome.
why the gym is out there in the sticks where there are no distractions. So a complete contrast to like the extreme couture of Las Vegas.
Right, exactly. All right, well, good stuff. That's number 5. We'll be going to be continuing our countdown with that. But right now, we've got Robertina back on the line. We're going to check in with her, see what's going on down at the UFC weigh-ins. Robertina, how are you, girl?
You know, I was good up until that little incident, but I think I'm better.
You feel violated?
A little bit.
Robertina, I'm going to try to do you a favor. Next time, I'm going to see if I can get Joe Rogan or GSP to do that.
Okay, I have a story for you about GSP. I am so mad right now.
Whoa.
So we're talking.
Let's preface this. Hold on. Let's preface this with Robertina worships the ground this guy walks on.
Yeah.
Loves him.
And
Tell me he did not break your heart.
He walked on the ground directly in front of me in disguise, and I did not recognize him.
Oh, that's got to hurt.
Can you believe that? I just about punched Joe just because he was standing next to me and he was the closest person to me.
What do you
I
mean
would
by
think
disguise?
your hair on your back of your neck would go up just with him being in the
Robertina,
area.
if Jessica Alba was in the same continent as I would know.
He wasn't on crutches?
You would think.
So
He was walking.
How did he get past
He
you?
was walking just fine. He was not on crutches. He was not limping. That's why I didn't recognize him. I was looking for crutches. Didn't find him.
All right. Well, I thought maybe he had broken your heart some way. So I guess he's still in good graces.
He is, but I'm gonna hunt him down tomorrow. You'll see.
now you've got his scent. He's in trouble now.
That's right.
All right. So what's going on down there? Any big stories coming out of the UFC? Anything that we should know about that maybe the general public doesn't already know about?
We talked to Chris Lytle for a minute, and Joe will go into that a little bit more, but Chris Lytle's been training with Matt Mitrione, so we talked to him about his fight for a little bit. We actually ran into Chuck Liddell, who is not as nice as I thought he was going to be, but maybe he was just hungry.
Yeah.
And, here, you know what, let me give the phone over to Joe. He's got all the details. I was kind of just stargazing, so hang on one second.
You behave yourself down there.
You know, I just got things done to my leg, so I don't think you should tell me to behave myself.
I guess you're right there.
Okay, hang on one sec.
First of all, Mike, you almost got me beat up by Rampage's trainer.
That's all right. That's what we sent you down there for, buddy.
His coach was very upset that we wanted to interview with him because and what he said was he's the most misquoted person on the planet. So he thought we were going to record it and do what we wanted to do with what he said. So
no, he just gave us ideas. Now we're going to have to do something like that. Watch for the revised version of that interview coming soon.
In coming shows.
Anyway, and GFP wasn't in that much of a disguise. She just wasn't paying attention, and he walked right into her. But he wasn't limping. He wasn't on crutches. He practically ran out of the place. So
Joe, this sounds like the last time where Joe Rogan walked right in front of her, and she just froze like a deer in headlights, and then later says, "Oh, I didn't see him."
She didn't see him. She didn't recognize him this time. But I got to tell you, she did talk to Joe Rogan. They wouldn't let Joe Rogan in the arena because he didn't have his credentials, and the guy wasn't going to let him in there.
Was Bill Corbett working down there?
And you know Joe Rogan, he probably just forgot it. You know how he is.
Yeah. Well, you know how you get a little spacey.
Yeah. So, but we did talk to, you heard Rampage talk about Czech Congo fighting Matt Mitrione, and we talked to Chris Lytle, and he's training Matt Mitrione, and we talked to him about his camp and everything, what's going on. And he says that he's a professional football player turned MMA fighter. He says that he's transitioning really well, and that he's just a great learner. And he expects big things from him, and I like it because you know who Chris Lytle is. He's the top earner of Fight of the Night. He's a great guy. He's a great fighter. So
Joe, who you taking in that fight? You've got a chance to talk to both sides a little bit. Who you taking in that fight? What's your gut on?
Oh, I have Matt Mitrione. I had him from the start. He's just he's too powerful, too strong, and he has just heavy hands.
I'm taking the other guy.
What's that?
I'm taking the other guy.
That's his expert opinion.
Just cause, right?
Well, because Rampage did things to Robertina, and so I got to do it. I've got to go with it.
Compelled.
And I have pictures and proof. And the coach, his trainer, some British dude, yelled at me for taking pictures of what was going on. He doesn't want it all over the internet.
You tell that guy he's going to have to lighten up a little bit. Man.
No kidding.
Oh, man. Well, he was a British guy. What do you expect?
Yeah, those Brits.
Yeah, they're a little stiffy.
Brits are a little high-strung. They're still mad about that war 200 years ago.
That skirmish.
All right, so
But,
what else is, now let's talk a little bit about the main event, because it's been a big roller coaster ride where everybody was excited to see GSP and Diaz, and then we tried to talk ourselves into being excited about GSP and Condit, and then now we're trying to talk ourselves to being excited. And I do like this matchup. I do, by the way, like Penn versus Diaz, but it just seems as though the show has lost some of his luster. Do you get that same sense being around the people down there?
How can you be excited about a fight when the two fighters aren't even excited about the fight?
They don't want to fight
Amen.
each other. That's where BJ Penn said, I used to have to hate everybody I fight, and I don't hate this guy. And Diaz said, man, this guy used to be my hero.
Yeah, Joe Rogan after the weigh-ins tried to get him to talk a little smack, and he goes, what does this fight mean to you? And BJ Penn goes, he's a good fighter. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow.
How can we be hyped about a fight when the fighters aren't even hyped about it? So,
if you can't get Diaz to talk bad about you, you can't.
That's a feat.
That's
Yeah.
the problem. But I read somewhere that Diaz actually had gotten a magazine when he was a kid. It was an MMA magazine, and it had BJ Penn on it and he tore the pages out and hung them up on his wall. I mean, that's how long he's been idolizing this guy. And he says, my fight style very much mirrors his as a result of that. I've grown up idolizing this guy. Now I got to fight him.
Yeah, he says it over and over again that he's his favorite fighter. That I just don't get it, man. If they're not excited about it, why do they even do this fight? I don't like it. And then it's a main event. It's a three 5-minute rounds. There's really nothing to this fight, and it's just not exciting in any aspect, I don't think.
Do you see anything on the undercard that's worth talking about?
The fight that I'm excited about, like we were talking earlier, is the Czech Congo and Matt Mitrione fight. I think that's fight of the night, probably knockout of the night too. We tried to catch up with Ramsey Nijim. He was out of there pretty fast. I know he cut down to 155, so he got out of there fast to go eat. But the fight that I'm excited about is that Matt Mitrione fight, and that's the one to watch out for.
All right, well, I'm glad they didn't cancel the card altogether. Otherwise, you guys would just be at strip joints and buffet lines down there.
And Joe, who you going for in that Matt fight?
Oh, he just said he was taking Mitrione.
Oh, did he say that? Okay,
yeah.
I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, Mitrione. And I got to tell you, we tried to catch up with Diaz and just congratulate him for showing up to something, but we couldn't get to it. So.
I'm sure he was out of there quickly too. Well, Joe, I want to thank you guys for going down there and keeping us up on all this stuff. If you have anything super cool come up, feel free to call us back.
Oh man, we will. We're there. We just talked to Uriah Faber. He got out of here pretty fast. We're gonna go walk around. They're everywhere in the casino, so we're gonna go talk to a few people and see what we can come up with.
Good stuff, my man. Have fun down there.
All right, thanks, Mike.
All right, well, Bob and Joe checking in from the UFC 137. That's pretty exciting stuff.
That is exciting stuff. Mike, I wanted to ask you about the Diaz-BJ Penn fight. Is Dana White trying to make a point? And either way, if with these guys not being excited about it, do you think he could step back and look at this and go, maybe I need to just be a little more flexible with these guys? Or is he just too set in his ways and go, no, this is crap. You got to show up for your interviews. You do what I say. I'm the boss.
I disagree, because I think he should have cut Diaz altogether when he didn't show up. So I think he showed more flexibility than I've ever seen him show. And the fact that he was even letting him be in the ball game at all was amazing to me. And maybe, who knows, maybe this injury to GSP happened sooner, and because why even keep him around other than it's a good thing he did? Otherwise, they would have nothing for this fight card.
Right.
So I was amazed that Dana White did even keep him around at all. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Adam Laga online. He's going to be talking about the big Showdown show that's coming up in a couple of weeks. So we got a lot more Ultimate Combat Radio. Don't go anywhere.